You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and it just flows? It pulls you in from one moment to the next, and you never feel a single bump. But how do writers actually pull that off? Well, that's the big challenge we're going to tackle. Let's get into it.
Okay, so think about this for a second. A typical screenplay has something like 120 scenes. That is 120 different pieces of a puzzle that all need to fit together perfectly. So how in the world do you make sure they feel like a single connected story with unstoppable momentum and not just a bunch of random stuff happening? That's the question.
All right, here's the best way to wrap your head around this. I want you to stop thinking of your story as just a series of events. Instead, picture it as this great big, complex machine. Yeah, like a finely tuned watch or a high-performance engine where every single little part has a very specific, very crucial job to do.
But here's the thing about a machine this precise. There is absolutely no room for error. If even one gear is out of place, if one single scene feels disconnected or pointless, the entire mechanism just grinds to a halt. The story stops dead, and you've lost your audience. So the real question is, how do you make sure every one of those gears meshes absolutely perfectly?
Well, it turns out the secret isn't some huge, complicated rule. Nope, it's actually about focusing on one single, critical component inside each and every scene. This one little piece is what makes the whole story machine run, and we call it the protagonist of the scene.
Now this is so important, so listen up. This is not necessarily your story's main character, not at all. The protagonist of the scene is simply the one character whose desires are driving that specific moment. They are the engine for that scene. They're the one pushing everything forward to get what they want right then and there.
And this doesn't just happen by magic. The source material is really clear about this. The writer has to be an architect. You have to make a conscious, deliberate choice. For every single scene you write, you have to ask, okay, who is in the driver's seat here? Because that one decision is going to dictate absolutely everything that happens next.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, when you get it right, when you assign the right protagonist to each scene, you create this incredibly powerful chain reaction. You're no longer writing isolated little moments, you're actually building a system where each scene directly causes the next one to happen.
This is just a brilliant way to see how it works mechanically. So imagine the protagonist of scene one, right? They want something, and that creates conflict. Now the outcome of that, the tension it creates, it doesn't just vanish. No way. It gets passed directly to scene two, becoming its starting point. Then the protagonist of scene two has to react to that tension, and whatever they do creates the problem that scene three has to solve. See? It's a perfect, unbroken chain of cause and effect. It's like interlocking gears.
Now here's where it gets really cool. Focusing on this one tiny detail, who's the protagonist of the scene, has these massive, system-wide benefits for your entire story. It's a small decision on the ground that creates incredible stability for the whole structure.
I mean, this gives you so much control. By switching up who the scene protagonist is, you can manage complicated relationships way more efficiently. It helps you spread the tension out across the whole story so you don't get that dreaded saggy middle. It can even help you out if your main character is a little passive. You just make someone else the protagonist of a few key scenes to push the action forward. It is such a powerful tool for keeping your narrative balanced.
And just to be super clear, let's nail down the difference. Your main protagonists, they're playing the long game, right? Their goal stretches across the entire movie. But the scene protagonists, their needs are immediate. They are specific. They need to win this argument, find this clue, escape this room, right now. And it's their short-term wins and losses that actually power the main character's bigger journey, one scene at a time.
So what does this all mean for you, the person telling the story? It means you've got to shift your perspective a little bit. You're not just a narrator, just telling people what happened. You are a designer. You're an engineer. You are an architect. Your script is a blueprint for that great story machine we talked about. And the protagonist of the scene is one of the most critical, load-bearing parts of that entire design. When you master how to identify and use this role, you gain the ability to engineer a story that just runs smoothly, powerfully, and flawlessly, from the very first page to the final fade-out.
So I'm going to leave you with a question. Go watch a big scene from your favorite movie, but this time don't just follow the hero. Ask yourself, in this specific moment, who is actually driving the action? Who has the immediate goal? Who is the real protagonist of this scene? The answer, I promise you, might just change the way you see stories forever.